wanted
What
to
is this?
examine.
Just like, it's just a bunch of depressed millennials. I don't want to see this. This is pathetic. If I want to see this, I go to my next high school reunion. I don't want to see this shit.
The full scope of this service because it's not quite what people think it is, and prospective customers need to be aware of that. To do this, we need to go back in time. 2018 was many things, some good, some bad, but relevant for today's video, 2018 was the time frame when BetterHelp initially found traction on the platform by sponsoring a very large number of YouTube creators. These creators would very often talk about how valuable the service is. They would draw connections to their own personal lives or express their own struggles.
I
which is fine.
never did
People
this.
can promote things that they also believe in. Except there was a bit of a discrepancy between what was being said about the company and what users were actually experiencing.
What a
Anecdotal
surprise.
evidence is overly abundant here, but the gist of it then, and still today now, is that many users were complaining about unnecessary fees, difficulty canceling subscriptions, or problems with the service that left them completely unsatisfied. As an example, users who actively subscribed to the platform often had enormous difficulty canceling that subscription. They were repeatedly required to confirm their intentions and faced with things like this. Typically, when you go to buy something or cancel something, green means yes, do the thing I'm trying to do, and red means no, I changed my mind. Also, buttons to the left typically denote cancellation or go back, and buttons on the right signal confirmation or go forward.
This is confusing. I agree. I actually think that the red and green are okay because red is usually to quit and green is usually to go. But they are switched, and I think that it is on purpose. Just read. Well, the thing is that, so you ever seen a fat person try to run hurdles? You ever seen them try and do it? And they hit some, don't they? Every once in a while, they'll get one. They'll hit one because they can't get over it. Well, this is just a hurdle, and there's a couple of you know, metaphorical fat asses that it's going to stop them. A kid could read it, though? Yeah, but what if you're dumber than that kid? Like, I don't think y'all understand how stupid people are. Like, y'all really need to, we got to have a reality check.
BetterHelp, even though this is a relatively small item in the grand scheme of things for the video,
66% literacy,
try to trick their customers into hitting the green button on the right, which would then actually halt the process of cancellation, because the goal wasn't convenience or satisfaction. The goal was to manipulate their user base into remaining on the platform with an active subscription, which would then continue to rack up charges even in their absence. Something else we can look at to kind of help showcase this is that even last year, that being 2023, BetterHelp dispersed $93 million in refunds, which constituted 8% of their entire revenue stream. It's difficult.
That's crazy, though. That means they made over $1 billion. That's nuts. Holy shit. That's really good. Well, bro, I should do some therapy shit. This is a good idea. There must be a lot of depressed millennials. Oh,
direct
man.
Comparisons for that figure, but it's worth noting that the number of people who actually pursue and complete a refund process, especially a difficult one, is substantially lower than the number of people who are overall dissatisfied with any given service, which begins to put things in perspective. You don't have to look very far to start finding many more clues about what kind of company this actually is, but try this one on for size. After a pretty horrifying tragedy took place at a festival called Astro World in Houston, there's a 1,200-page police report about what happened, which is pretty chilling, honestly, but the gist of it is that a hyped-up crowd compressed in on itself at a concert, and multiple people died as a result of that. After that tragedy occurred...
This is a Travis Scott concert, yeah.
BetterHelp partnered up with Travis Scott, who many believe to be partially... responsible despite managing to avoid criminal charges, and offered a free month of online therapy to all those affected. Yeah, the subpar remote therapist application in partnership with a negligent rapper who excited a crowd and caused a tragedy are showing how much they care together by basically giving you 4 free telehealth sessions on an application that breaches your privacy and tries to keep you trapped in a cycle of payments.
I mean, you got to hand it to them. They're really going for it, though, right? I mean, they're really going for it. Like, they're going all the way.
That's
impressive. Yeah, like the level of shamelessness.
On top of this, as if that's not already enough
that's hard to
form
do.
A judgmental opinion of them, there was a bit of a problem with their terms of service. According to archives, their TOS previously contained a segment which said, quote, "We do not control the quality of the counselor services, and we do not determine whether any counselor is qualified to provide any specific service."
Huh. I should have signed up and done it. Yeah.
What? Now, that particular passage
I
has
should have
since
signed
been
up, man.
removed, obviously.
Could have
but
made
it
some
further
money.
demonstrates that the company has a really unstable
Somebody says in chat it's DoorDash for therapy.
foundation with the public when it comes to common perception. And their chosen
Yeah, and some
tactic
people's
to
food
remedy
gets cold.
this is just
Well, I
lots
guess
of
in this
money.
case, their body.
I already talked about how prolific BetterHelp used to be when it comes to
Was that
YouTube
too far?
sponsorships. But what I didn't say is that these YouTubers were getting paid something like $100 to $200 per sign-up when they advertise the service. Some affiliate websites show a minimum commission of $100 per trial user.
Remember what I said about how I usually try to dial it down? That's why I stay away from people.
Making it an extremely lucrative thing to advertise this mental health application and make it seem like a worthwhile service to use. Well, that was then, and this is now. So what precisely is connecting these 2 points in time? Answer: BetterHelp is connecting these 2 points in time because they are exponentially dialing up their advertising, once again, possibly relying on the fact that internet users have a very short attention span.
They're stupid.
And probably hoping to capitalize on a younger demographic of adolescent teenagers and early young adults who have been aggressively told that their mental health is the most important thing ever in the history of the universe for the majority of their living lives, making them not only hyper susceptible to this, but also relatively uninformed if they didn't pay attention 6 years ago when BetterHelp initially encountered controversy on the platform, which was also
Well, you're always going to have a new crop of idiots, and there's a new set of stupid 14-year-olds that you can sell and scam every single year. Every year there's a new crop of them. And like, so if you're scamming kids out of money, or like 19-year-olds too, right? I mean, because 19, maybe they got student loan money, you can get that. It's an infinite money glitch. Yeah, it is. I'm a therapist, and BetterHelp should be illegal. It's disgusting to both the client and the provider. Therapy sweatshop. I mean, I've never been to therapy. I've never had a inclination to go to therapy. I think that, as I've said before, I joke around about how I'm crazy, but I actually think I'm the only person who's not. Everybody else is crazy. And in a world where everybody is crazy, they're going to think that it's actually you, but it's actually everybody else.
COVID,
It's not
which
me.
allows them to capitalize
It's not
even
me.
further
It was never
on
me.
the dramatically increased tolerance people have for telehealth
Well,
and
Dr. Gray,
remote
that's not
medical
therapy.
solutions,
That's just a story.
which weren't nearly as popular before then. According to research by the Out Loud group, BetterHelp went from sponsoring roughly 392 videos
That's a
in
lot.
third quarter 2022 up to 636 in first quarter 2023, 1,237 in the second quarter,
That's 2,000.
nearly 2,000 in the third quarter. That's a pretty massive increase over time, on track to be roughly 10 times higher over the span of just 1 year.
Oh my
But
God.
seeing that made me wonder why. Why are they doing this now?
Well,
And what's
because it makes money. You saw how that, like the 8%, like if 8% of the money you make has to be refunded, like you're making a huge amount of money. The pandemic must have doubled it. Yeah, pandemic fucked total. Oh my God, bro! Like pandemic made everybody crazy. It did. It turned people nuts, man. I feel like we're still recovering from that. It's like people became feral. It's like people went hollow, like in Dark Souls, like like those things at the beginning of the cinematic. That's the way people are. That was 5 years ago. Yeah, almost.
the reason to dial up advertising that much on a platform whose community previously ejected them with very little sympathy? Before going further, today's video is brought to you by Incogni. Incogni is all about online privacy and data protection. That's actually been one of my hobbies lately, owing to how important protecting your data is in a modern digital world, increasingly so. Every single day, your data is at risk of being sold by third-party brokers or accessed without your knowledge in data breaches. Some people sell it. There are hundreds for the website they never even know about. Using the link down below in the description and code ECHELON at checkout, you'll get 60% off an annual subscription to Incogni. I could go into a lot more depth on this. The services they offer and the value they provide is quite large, considering, but for the sake of time, I have to keep it trimmed. Again, link down below and promo code ECHELON for 60% off your subscription. Big thank you to Incogni for sponsoring the channel.
That's a lot.
So the question is why? Why would BetterHelp come back and dump that much money into YouTube right now?
Because they think you're stupid. And it's not that they think you're stupid. They know you're stupid. Every internet drama has a lifespan. And people don't care about internet drama that's old, even if it's really bad drama. Like, you can think of the worst possible thing. Remember whenever Chris Brown beat the fuck out of Rihanna? Did anybody care whenever Chris Brown was talking about like these like new raps that he was doing about people? People thought it was hilarious. They didn't care. Because nobody gives a shit about this anyway. People just get recreationally mad about the internet, and then they go back to their normal life.
I dug around for a while.
You did? Yeah, it was crazy.
There, but finally, I stumbled on something.
Dude's an animal.
CareDash. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, which is probably...
Whoa, bro. Like, who was it that said it was DoorDash? I guess they must agree.
Everyone. CareDash is a platform meant to connect people to various doctors, dentists, and therapists. But I shouldn't say the word "is" here, because CareDash doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, it turns out CareDash was a fraud scheme that had been posting profiles of real physicians, clinicians, and therapists, most importantly, without their knowledge or consent. That might seem strange, but the incentive is actually very, very straightforward. CareDash would host the profiles of real therapists, but then if someone tried to use their platform to actually book an appointment with that therapist, CareDash would say, oops, sorry, they're not accepting new people right now, and refer that potential customer directly to BetterHelp.
That's smart.
Try to stay with me here.
Yeah.
I learned through an escalated federal lawsuit.
That's smart. That's what DoorDash does with, do you remember they had that lawsuit apparently? Where like they said that like this place is closed or something like that? Yeah, that's smart.
CareDash was operated by a company called NewFit Media. And NewFit Media is a multi-million-dollar startup funded by a venture capital firm called Link Ventures. It's got all the typical bells and whistles, world-class partnerships, and strong and passionate creative teams, etc. etc. But if we compress it down to a basic
agile
point of
workspace
here, CareDash was a multi-million-dollar fraud platform driving traffic through unauthorized use of therapist profiles to BetterHelp, which was shut down in the first quarter of 2023.
Well, you have to understand that, like, you have to look, these people have the same ethical guidelines and guardrails as a raccoon does. So ask yourself the question, would a raccoon do this? If the answer is yes, then they would too.
This is where my Chrome window almost crashed completely because I had so many tabs open. And yeah, turns out that BetterHelp is actually a wholly owned subsidiary acquired by a company called Teladoc in 2015. Teladoc is a publicly traded company, thankfully, which means they have to disclose financials. So theoretically, I should be able to check what's happening, and presto goes the dynamite. Yes, I can. In the second quarter of 2023, shortly after the closure of CareDash, which was funneling customers directly to BetterHelp through a multi-million-dollar startup platform, and directly before they started exponentially increasing their advertising push on YouTube here, Teladoc disclosed that BetterHelp had roughly 476,000 paying users. However, in the fourth quarter of 2023, as BetterHelp is approaching a 10 times higher amount of advertising on YouTube, again, according to research from the Out Loud group, Teladoc disclosed that the number of paying users for the platform had actually decreased to 425,000.
Well, that's bad.
That may seem small, but it's actually about 50,000 users.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
10% of their entire customer base.
That's a lot.
From my perspective, based on the information I've collected so far, it seems like the company is desperately trying to make up for the loss of CareDash, which was benefiting them tremendously as a primary user intake method. Through
Why don't they just make another website, call it Dash Care? Like, if I was them, if I was a raccoon, that's what I would do. Yeah, I feel like that's the first thing to do, or have somebody else do it in like South America. That was taken, just figure out something else. You know, fuck. I think it's some better name. Uber Care? Yeah, Uber Care. That sounds good.
Affiliate program. despite not being directly associated with BetterHelp as a company.
Even
And they're
BetterHelp?
bleeding
I like that,
subscribers
yeah.
every single day as they funnel money back into YouTube, hoping that people have somehow forgotten who they are.
They
That's
will.
my guess.
They will. People are going to forget. What they should do is they should try to sponsor people that, what do you call it? I think that if I was them, like, who would I try to sponsor? I think what they should do is they should try to sponsor, like, some of those red pill people, because, like, they're always looking for money, and so they'll sell out their audience real quick, right? And on top of that, it can be seen as, like, men's health, so that way, like, you could trick people into doing that. Yeah, only cares. I like that. Yeah, I think that's a smart way. Like, that's probably a group of people you could manipulate and get them to give you money. Pretty easy. Probably the most easy. That's devious as fuck. Well, so here's the thing, right? Is like you look at a lion and you see a lion chasing down a herd of gazelles. And the gazelle that he gets is usually not the fastest gazelle. In fact, in most cases, it's the slowest gazelle. That's natural selection, and he just got selected. These people are lions, and they're looking to select some people. That's just the way it is. The devious lion. Yeah, that's the way the world works.
Thankfully, there's a couple more pieces of the puzzle here that tie everything together quite nicely. So, yeah, let's go over those before doing a final summary. In July of 2023, BetterHelp was officially charged and penalized for sharing health questionnaire answers and other
requiring
data.
to pay $7.8 million. So $7.8 million, and they refunded 7% of their money, which was $93 million, which means that the total amount of money that they probably made was like $110 million for 10%, so it'd be $1.1 billion. But then they got a fine for $7 million. That sounds like the cost of doing business. That sounds like that. This sounds like like this is smart. This was smart. They probably made way more than $7 million off this. This was smart.
With advertisers.
Yeah.
It's a paltry sum, to be completely honest, 7 point whatever million
nothing.
dollars. Affected users, of which there are roughly 800,000, are getting less than $10 each, while the company seems to spend more on YouTube advertising in a single year than the entire fine demanded that they pay. But
yeah,
regardless,
they don't care.
It gives a foot in the door to see what's really going on.
Okay.
Quote, despite representing to consumers that BetterHelp would keep consumers' information private and only use their information for non-advertising purposes, BetterHelp used and disclosed information obtained from consumers through the intake questionnaire and sign-up process for advertising. And
say it ain't so. No, man. Who the fuck didn't believe this?
So they lied about the data policies, told their user base, we won't use this information, and then turned around immediately and used it for advertising. Awesome.
Right, of course.
But it gets better, or it gets funnier, maybe. That's probably the wrong word. These are serious topics.
Well, you have to keep in mind that they probably didn't do that directly. What they probably said is that they would only share their information with their trusted partners. And then their trusted partners are another company that they own. And then they send the information to the trusted partner, and then the trusted partner uses the information to advertise to them. You see how that works? What's next? Pharmaceutical companies lying to us? That would be awful.
But it gets better, or it gets funnier.
Oh my God.
That's probably the wrong word. These are serious topics, I know. But consider this. In 2018, CEO Elon Musk published a Medium post that said, quote, one of the favorite conspiracy theories was that our business model is selling data to third parties.
Yeah. The only part of this that's a conspiracy theory is that it's a third party.
This is such a far-fetched conspiracy that I feel awkward addressing it. Our model is simple.
Yeah, it's not third
Members
party,
pay a
bro.
fee
It's
to get
first
counseling.
party. Yeah, what do you
Counselors
mean?
are paid to provide counseling. We are in the counseling business, not in the data business. There is nothing we take more seriously than the security and privacy of our members. It also goes without saying that counseling is a strictly regulated space, and selling such data would be a gross violation of federal laws,
well, you know
laws,
that because you got
HIPAA
the fine.
regulations, and our own terms and privacy policy.
Yeah, because of the fine.
Okay. Conspiracy theory, hardly even worth responding to, I guess, according to one of the founders. But From 2013 to 2020, according to the now settled FTC investigation, docket C4796, the service was, quote, continually breaking privacy promises, monetizing consumers' health information to target them and others with advertisements for the service.
And that's the thing, is that Elon wasn't lying. And you see, this is one way that you can catch people that are lying. Like, I lie about shit all the time. I don't anymore. I really don't. I'm not really much of a liar. I used to be a huge liar. I used to lie about everything. Because it was just like, it was interesting. But anyway, one way that you can tell whenever somebody is lying is whenever they create a qualifying variable or a qualifying factor, like third party, and that's where the misdirection happens. It's whenever you create that second thing.
For example, from 2018 to 2020, respondent used these consumers' email addresses and the fact that they had previously been in therapy to instruct Facebook to identify similar consumers and target them with advertisements for the service, bringing in tens of thousands of new paying users and millions of dollars in revenue as a result.
It's not a lie.
End quote.
In my opinion, I think that if you mislead people, you're lying to them. If you, at any point, make someone believe something that's not true,
Ricky finds out his paranormal investigator comes close, and his camera captures top 20 scariest TikTok videos of the year. CCTV shocked by right across Adam's house when he sees something truly but the top 20 scariest TikTok ghost videos of the year. TikTok user Dark Secret 37 is a mother from the Philippines currently living in Japan with her 2 sons. One evening in the spring when the sakura trees are in full bloom, the 2 boys make a video with one of their friends filming. What happens next is truly bizarre. Did you see it? A hand wraps around one of the boys' legs. The guy who's recording is shocked and hurries over to inspect the area around the 2 boys. But there's nothing and no one there. Some Japanese TikTok commenters believe that long ago someone was buried on the spot where the sakura tree now stands, and that the restless spirit tried to reach out to the children. Literally. But what do you think this creepy hand could be? Is it real or just an elaborate hoax? You decide. Caught on camera. TikTok user Summer, who is a mother of 2, lives in a small house in an old town in rural Georgia. Late one night, Summer takes her phone out to record a quick video in her backyard. But she immediately notices something that is absolutely unnerving.
Y'all, I am in my yard. Watch my face. This is not an app doing this. This is my yard. The church is behind me. Watch my face. Church, you can see straight through me. I kid you not. Look at this. Whoa.
On camera, Summer's face seems to twist and distort into something unrecognizable as she simply moves around in her own backyard. Summer says that she is deeply worried that the strange old church across the street might be the cause of the creepy occurrence. She attempts to find information about the history of the old church, but she hits a dead end and is left with no answers. So did Summer catch a bizarre paranormal visual disturbance on camera? Or just what is going on here? Meanwhile, on TikTok.
More than 150 years old, the Anson Call House is known for its ghost stories. A family that lived here for close to 20 years says there's no question this place was haunted.
On Halloween night, paranormal investigation team Paranosis hosts a live event on their TikTok page as they investigate the allegedly haunted Anson Call House in Bountiful, Utah. The historic home was built in 1859 and was the home of Mormon pioneer Anson Call and his 5 wives. It is said that Anson was a cruel man and would lock his wives in the basement if they did not obey him. He eventually passed away inside the home. 84 years later, it is said that Ted Bundy kidnapped and held a woman in the Anson Call home before taking her life. Lead investigator Bennett Rain and her team are broadcasting live outside the house when suddenly they all see something absolutely terrifying.
What?
There's like a knock on the sounded like a knock on a window or something.
I'm done. I can't.
Trying to draw us.
Freaking, that's where it was trying to
Dude.
What?
Look at it! Look at it!
Oh, it is the freaking ceiling. Here's someone talking. There's some girls out in the front. Okay, that's the freaking ceiling. Freaking. I don't know.
What? It was.
What?
There was a thing like smashing up against the glass. Oh my god.
Was that in the front? Was that the front of the freaking house? What was that?
The window. It's coming from inside. It hit the.
Oh my god.
This has been happening the whole time. You guys were in there.
That's been happening the whole time?
You were in there. Somebody's been banging on the window and the door. We got it on video too.
Okay. I think I'm done. I need to get. What the hell? Is that gonna break the.
I don't know. Is that coming from upstairs or downstairs?
Okay. I think. Okay, that's the freaking. I'm done. Okay.
We gotta go in.
You're gonna go in?
Yeah, let's go in.
Why would you go in when the freaking house is falling apart?
The remains of a bed frame fly up towards the ceiling. The shocked investigators quickly head inside to investigate.
This is, I think this is where the banging was coming from. This is for sure, look. Look at that. That's what I saw flying around. I saw that in the window.
Yeah, it was like clear up by the ceiling.
Now, this terrifying event was all captured live, and fans of the Paranosis team shared their recordings of the investigation on TikTok. What makes the footage even more compelling is that paranormal fan Ashley came along on the investigation, and she too captured chilling footage of the Anson Call home.
Oh my gosh. No. Oh my gosh. There's the neighbor. There's the neighbor. Oh my gosh.
Do you guys see stuff a lot? Like
Not really. I just hear things in my bedroom.
That's crazy. Nah. Because
Because I live